Making a change in the world is not just something that should start today or tomorrow. It's something that we have to put into effort ourselves as human beings. It's something that I don't have to tell someone to do. It's just like when your stomach gets hungry and you want food because you're hungry. And you get yourself food, you eat food, and probably your hunger will no longer be there because you fed yourself. In this modern world today, I realize many things that are happening, and most of these things are mysteries in the world. Grown ups don't act like grown ups anymore. Children don't act like children anymore. Kids don't act like kids anymore. The world that we live in today is changing really fast, and people are changing with the world. Or may I just say, perhaps, the world is still the world, even though it's changing, but it's not changing because the change is just there. It's changing because people are changing, and people are changing the world because the world is people and the world are people. Last week, I was on my way to the mall just to walk around because I haven't really been out in a while. And I saw two men walking across the street with a woman. These two people were Caucasian. And there was a car, like a sports car, a Mustang sports car, drove very fast beside me, and then they were also crossing the streets and it drove right beside them. And the car came around again and did the same thing. Since I was just taking a walk, the mall is a very big place. The car parked and he looked at those two men and women that were working on the street and started saying things to them and started cussing them out and started saying things that weren't nice, things that wasn't very genuine, things that wasn't pleasant. This person was just not alone. He was with other people that eventually along the journey helped him to also join this negative attitude, this negative bad habit towards these people that has done nothing wrong to them. The people that were in the car were African Americans. And they seemed like they were angry and they were mad. And they started saying things to these people who has done nothing wrong to them. But of course, the woman and the two other men didn't say anything back because the mall was very few of a different race, very few of the Caucasian race. At the time that it was happening, it was a lot of African American people around, and a lot of people start to look around to see what was going on. And some people start to join the conversation, like it was okay for this man to just act arrogantly towards these people who has done nothing wrong. In the world that we live today, people don't know what's right from what's wrong anymore. Not just from the want of justice, not just from the want of equality, but from the want that they don't think before they act. This group of people that were walking on the streets are just people. Their skin tone should not matter who they are and what they do. They didn't bother anyone. They didn't disturb anybody. They were just people working on the streets, minding their business. I understand that the world of today, a lot is happening. But it breaks my heart to experience something like that and not having to talk about it. Equality, in definition, means things that are equal. Equilibrium. Things that are just normalized. It's 50-50. It's 1:1, 2:2, and 4:4. It's just normal. There is no equality in hate. There is no equality in injustice. There is no equality in unfairness. These people that were just working on the streets have done nothing wrong. And they should not be a target for what other people have done. If the world wants equality for themselves, equality starts from your heart and your mind. The things that you choose to say and the things that you choose to do. The person that you choose to become and the person that you're becoming. Your character says a lot about how you think and your mind. We all know about what has been happening for years. But I strongly disagree that racism is just from one race. Racism is the problem of everybody. Okay? Just because you're African American or African descendants doesn't give you the right to threaten other people who has done nothing wrong because they don't look nothing like you. Or because you feel pain or because you feel hurt. That's not the way to have equality. Equality is not revenge. Revenge and equality are different. They're not the same. We are all human beings, and we shouldn't try to hurt each other because of want, because of hate, because we cannot tolerate each other's presence. Yes, a lot has happened. Yes, a lot is happening. And yes, it's not fair. But just because there are people that are mean and evil doesn't mean that we have to judge each other or somebody else who has done nothing wrong just because they don't look like me or you. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right. I strongly oppose and disagree that African descendants or African American people cannot be racist to other race. That's impossible. That's not true. Racism is racism no matter how it's done, no matter who it's done it to. If it's race and it's filled with hatred just because of a skin tone or a race or ethnicity, it is racism. If I was to bully somebody who doesn't look like me, maybe a different ethnicity like Asian or Australian or Caucasian, I will be the one wrong. I will be the racist person. Racism does not have a gender. It does not have a color. It's a state of mind. It is a choice. There are good people who doesn't look like me and good people who look like me. And it still does not give me the right to judge other people for what they've done. I know the movement of Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, but all lives matter. We cannot have equality when we use racism and injustice to judge each other. If I was to bully a Caucasian person or a group of Caucasian people because of what has happened in the past or for what they've done wrong, I will be the one that's racist because I will be the one that's wrong. Doing what's wrong and what's right does not come from a type of color, does not come from a type of eye color, hair color, race, skin tone. It comes from people, from your mind. There are a lot of biracial people that live together, happily married, happily friends, happily family people for years. And they do it just fine. And they love each other just fine. If you have problem with a race, maybe it's better for you to just be by yourself and keep to yourself. Reverse racism, straight racism, back racism, racism this, racism that. It's not okay. Racism is racism. No matter who's doing it, what race is doing it, ethnicity that's doing it. Even if I did it, it's still racist. It doesn't matter. It breaks my heart that people knows what's right in their heart and they choose to do what's wrong. I will not support an agreement that says that these hands cannot be racist. That's not true. Anybody can be racist. Racism is defined as saying you're better than another color and using evil and negativity as a judgment to prove it. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are or what ethnicity or what race you are. That's not how to fight for equality. That's not to fight for injustice. We should not treat each other like animals. We're people. We feel pain. Wherever you are, you need to apologize. I did step in. I'm glad that I did. But even though the situation wasn't as great, it really breaks my heart to go on Instagram, social media platform, and see people disrespect each other just because they're confused from what's wrong and what's right. They believe this color cannot be racist, but that's not true. Anybody can be. Racism is a human problem. John, that's Caucasian, could have a problem with somebody that's dark skinned, which is Mia. Or maybe Joe, that's Caucasian, might love Mia, and Mia is as dark as I am. That's John's problem, and it's not Mia's and Joe. The world will never have equality if we keep on repeating the cycle that we've created. Racism is the act that we create. It's the act that people create for themselves. Yes, there are people who doesn't like you. Yes, there are people who doesn't want to see you.